Hey, good morning, my friends. How are you? How's your Wednesday morning? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. As always, so glad to have you along with us as I am back in the studio to record another Outdoor Magazine radio show. Let me change a couple settings here just so I can see what's going on. Otherwise, everything... There we go. That's better, Cliff. Always a pleasure. Craig, good morning. How are you? Tommy, nice to have you along with us. Once again, on a kind of a chilly, kind of a cold Wednesday morning. Uncle Johnny, how you doing? Bruce, good morning. How are you? Scott. Mike checking in from Arizona. Gene from the Apex plant in St. Louis, the middle of the mitten. Adam, over on YouTube. Good morning. How are you? Oh, it wasn't too warm, eh? Captain Jim was down in Florida. Nice to get away, but it wasn't too warm. It was kind of warm while you were gone. Jerry, good morning. How are you? Appreciate you joining us on this edition of Behind the Mic. Hey, Corey, how have you been, buddy? Yeah, I haven't talked to you for a while. Where have you been? Where have you been? What have you been doing? What have you been up to? I'll tell you who's coming up on the show here shortly. I got to admit, I'm dragging a little bit this morning. I did a big event last night in Saginaw County for the Fordney Club. There were 500 people there. They gave away 50 guns plus a bunch of other things. It was a great night. It was a fun night, but it was a long night, so I'm dragging. I need a little more coffee this morning. I know where to find it. John, good morning. How are you? Scott says his buddy said it's 72 in Florida. He says he'll take that. I'll take that too. I'm ready. I'm certainly ready. I said, hey, Corey, what have you been up to? Where you been? What have you been doing? Corey says, hey, I got married, been fishing. You know the usual. Well, congrats, Corey. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, good morning, Jim. My buddy Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer. Johnny, I look forward to seeing you and Heidi at the Trinity dinner. That's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't seen you for a while. I miss you, buddy. I miss you, big guy. Johnny, one of the good people, one of the good guys. Johnny Bowler, one of the good guys. Well, Uncle Johnny Crave's one of the good guys, too. Johnny's going to be one of my golf partners at our outing coming up this summer, but it's way, way, way too early to start thinking about that, to start talking about that. Or is it? I've been good. Okay, some things on my mind. I feel like we're kind of on a little bit of a weather roller coaster, haven't we? I mean, it was real warm and spring-like, and now it feels kind of like it's wintertime again. We're supposed to get some snow tomorrow. We'll see, and we'll see how much we get. Jason checking in from the Ford Dearborn Truck Plant. Good morning, Jason. How are you? Hey, Jim, always a pleasure. I saw that, Scott. We were downstate last week. What day was it? We were downstate Thursday, and there were guys on the golf courses there. Not all the courses were open, but some of them. It was pretty cool. Hey, Justin, good morning. How are you, my friend? Yeah, the weather is crazy. My son James was out on Saginaw Bay yesterday. Now, a lot of the guys were up in the river. James and his buddy Mike Smith went out in the bay, and they got some nice fish. I mean, really nice fish. Johnny, I don't have the energy this morning to go, it's hump day! And it's Valentine's Day. The door to the studio here is open. Oh. Good morning, Paul. Jerry went to his first muskrat dinner on Harson's Island last night. It wasn't that bad. Dixie Davis taught me if you cook, you can cook up anything if you do it right and it's edible. Randy, good morning. That was Scott. No, that was... Oh, it's your birthday. Johnny Bowler. You know what this means, Johnny? You ready, Johnny? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Johnny Bowler, Bear Whisperer. Happy birthday to Big Finish, everybody. You. Happy birthday, Johnny. I didn't know it was your birthday. Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer. Happy birthday. Captain Todd checking in from Texas. Johnny is 65 years old now. He's eligible for Medicare. No, he's not really. Mark, good morning. David, how are you? Joel. Boom shakalaka. Captain Jim says, happy birthday, Johnny. Scott says, don't quit your day job. I'm not quitting my day job. Justin says, happy birthday. It wasn't that bad, was it? Good morning, Bernie. How are you? Matt, how are you? Matt, I am so disappointed. I get it. I'm so disappointed you guys aren't going to be able to join us for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction, but I understand and I appreciate your generosity in donating a predator hunt to us. Craig Plowman says, happy birthday, Johnny. Brett says, happy birthday, Johnny. Captain Jason Graham, I was just talking about you, Jason. Jason is my opening guest on the radio show this week. Jason from Send It Charters and the Linwood Beach Marina. He's talking about an event that they have coming up. Also, we'll talk a little bit about fishing Saginaw Bay this time of year. My son James and his good friend Mike Smith were out there yesterday. They didn't get a bunch of fish, but they got some nice fish. In fact, I posted a picture on the Instagram, my Instagram feed, and the Facebook page. Nice fish. They released that fish, by the way. Kevin said he saw 2 dead skunks yesterday. I had a successful week because I saw my first dead skunk as well and posted that. I had to call in a little help from the troops, literally. I put the call out that people said, oh, I've been seeing dead skunks. I said, well, and they send me pictures like, I'm not going to post a picture of your dead skunk. I need to see my first dead skunk, and then I'll post it. Well, a friend of mine, a trooper friend of mine, said, Avery, there's a dead skunk on 10 just west of 11 Mile. So I went over there and I got that one. Arthur, come in here.
Coming, Father.
Art Lewis of WSTW. I saw Art last night at the Fordney event. That's a nice event, Art.
Oh, it's a great event. I'm in the Fordney Club. So yeah,
oh, you are?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys raise money for a good cause, too.
Yeah, lots of good causes.
50 guns.
Yeah.
And more.
Well, actually more.
More,
actually,
yeah.
56 if you count the handguns that were.
Well,
and then the ARs.
And I'm dragging this morning.
Yeah,
I'm an
well,
old man, Art.
My world.
I didn't have to get up as
You're
early
an
as
old
you.
man, my foot. Not as old as I am, pal. Keep going.
Art, we're going to go fishing this summer, too, again, aren't we?
Yes.
All right. I look forward to that. Art Lewis from WSTW, WSTW.com. He's an icon, at least in my world.
Thanks. So are you.
Yeah. I wish you could be as well, Matt, but I get it. I'm doing good, David. Tom, good morning from the Thumb. How are you? He says, happy birthday, Johnny. Johnny Bowler, everybody knows you, buddy. Johnny Crave says, happy birthday, buddy. Johnny. Okay, Jim, this is a good thing. He trolled the big lake out of South Haven the other day. Sure nice to get back out there. Which leads me to the rundown of this week's radio show. My first guest, as I say, is Captain Jason Graham of Send It Charters. If you're looking for a very, very good technical angler, and by technical, I mean a guy who pays attention to every detail, and he figures out what the fish want. He figures out how to give them what they want. It's Captain Jason Graham of Send It Charters. He also works at Linwood Beach Marina, and they're having an event coming up Saturday, March 2nd. We'll talk about that. Then Ben Nielsen of Showspan joins me to talk about the big outdoor Rama show coming up in our second hour. Glenn Duncan of Duncan's Outdoor Shop in Bay City on the new gun laws we are facing here in Michigan, effective today. I will just say that elections have consequences, and if you're worried about certain things, you need to vote for certain people. Then Justin Tomei of MUCC joins me. I thought it was going to be Nick Green. Let me check a text here. Yeah, Justin's going to join me. I just got a text from him. He said yes. This week's Ask Avery question, a couple of options. I don't know what they're going to be yet. And then in our third hour, we're talking Southern Lake, Michigan fishing with Russ Clark of Seahawk Charters. And, of course, we wrap it all up with Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. No, he's not 25. Johnny Bowler's not 25. And he's not 65. Johnny, your birthday is on Valentine's Day? I didn't know that, but how appropriate is that to have the Bear Whisperer's birthday on Valentine's Day because he's such a sweetheart? Good morning, Kevin. Kevin says it's cold in West Branch, making ice. Kevin, again, thank you for your help on putting together what will be our inaugural Mike Avery Outdoors or Outdoor Magazine. I don't know how we're gonna promote it yet. Golf outing on Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club. Kevin Rott, good morning. How are you? Jim says, dead skunks are trophies too. Good morning, Jake. How are you? Johnny said it'll be nice to see a lot of friends on the 2nd. Robert Cahoon says, happy birthday, Johnny. Good morning, Patrick. The birthday boy on Valentine's Day. Craig Plama says, I feel a lot safer after these gun laws have kicked in. Not. Oh, 51. Johnny, you're only 51? Johnny. I'm not even going to say it. Captain Mark Pananzak. No, that's not Mark. That's not Captain Mark. Why did they pass BS gun laws in Michigan? Because we voted in the wrong people. Jim says, I love that the recipes you're posting from Dixie Day. But yes, Jim, and so do I. But every week I get some people commenting on Dave's cooking about the fact that he loves a lot of gravy, and I delete those comments. Dave is an outstanding chef. I don't need your negative comments. Good morning, Mike. How are you? George says, Duncan's shop, awesome people. Johnny says, you'd think they'd be older with your you think I'd be older with your eyesight. Well, I don't need glasses all the time, but I have been using cheaters lately. And, of course, we know about these things in my ear, so I'm not talking about getting older. And, again, thank you to Justin Hess of Miracle Ear in Midland. Justin got me kind of started down this path. So if you're looking for a little hearing there, I can recommend a couple places I recommend. I worked with Beery in Midland, very happy with them. And then Miracle Ear in Midland as well, Justin Hess. Both great. Scott says, Dixie Dave is awesome. Tim says, good morning. Craig says, whispering to bears makes you feel older. All those nights at Andy's might make you feel a little older as well. Okay, what's on my list here? I started to go there and I got sidetracked. Talking about the weather roller coaster. I don't think we're going to see ice, but we are going to see snow tomorrow, I think. Dead skunks. I saw my first one with a little help. With a little help from my friends. He's not a trooper. He is a motor vehicle enforcement. But this guy, and I won't mention him because I don't have permission to, but our history is pretty, in some ways, interesting. He went to Ferris just a couple of years before I went to Ferris. And he's had a career in law enforcement. I did not, but my dad was a cop. Anyway, okay. I hear you, Mark. I hear you. Corey said he's getting geared up for the Michigan Walleye Tour tournament. The first stop is on the Saginaw River. What are the dates on that, Corey? Good luck to you. Scott says his lake is trying to freeze up again. Katie, no ice, but the walleye bite has been great on the Saginaw River. Yes, and that's something, Katie, I want to take advantage of. I don't have a boat to get out there on the river, but I'm going to rely on my friends and make some phone calls. I do want to get out there on the Saginaw River in the next couple of weeks. That fishing is just too good to ignore. Too good to ignore, yeah. The March 16th and 17th, which is, March. It's not till March. Okay, we got a couple of weeks yet then, Corey. More than a couple. I was thinking about the history of the Saginaw Bay walleye fishery. I'll talk more about that on the radio show. Possibly, Corey. Quite possibly. Ooh. Captain Mark Pananzak says, "Good morning, Mike, live from the Saginaw Bay in Skinny Water." Skinny Water, you say? Okay. And what does Skinny Water mean, Captain Pananzak? Oh, Mark, we missed you last night at the Fordney dinner. We gave away one of your trips. I was hoping to see you there. Skinny, and by the way, Mark is donating a trip for our Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction coming up Saturday, March 2nd. Go to one.bidpal.net for tickets or scan the QR code on my Facebook page. Okay, Cap, what does Skinny Water mean this morning? How skinny is skinny? I knew what you were saying, Corey. I appreciate that. Jeremy, ice on Lake Gogebic is bad. 2 guys went in yesterday, different locations. Scott, any new regulation changes for walleye and perch? Not that I'm aware of. Mark says 7 feet. That's skinny. Corey says, I've seen Mark Pananzak a lot lately because I know Mark has been up the river as well, doing quite well based on his social media post. Now he's back out in the bay in 7 feet of water. 7 feet of water on Saginaw Bay. Now we're talking my honey hole right there. 7 feet. No more than 10, possibly as shallow as 4. I can't wait to get back out there. My angler quest is a shrink wrapped at Linwood Beach Marina, and she's waiting for me, and she's going to have to wait for a while. But I've been jonesing to get out there. Skinny Water, you can be a small river and hook up. Jonesing to get out there. Listen, I love fishing Saginaw Bay, but right now I'm jonesing to get out on the river. Corey, I probably will. I don't know, Corey. Here's what I'm thinking, Corey. I know you want to get out there and fish hard for several hours. I'm looking for a real quick couple of hour trip. Captain Pananzak, I might be giving you a call. I'm just looking for a couple hours. Just get me out there, catch me some fish, let me do some social media content, but not looking for an all-day, hard day. I can't go on the weekends. It definitely can't go on the weekends. My weekends are booked up. But I appreciate that, Corey. I do appreciate it. Mark, I might be looking to get out there for a couple of hours in the river, though. I love this. When Charlie Rude walks in, the first words are, "Holy crap." Makes me think that we're not off to a good start. Jim says, I need some good cold weather gear to get out when it's this cold. That's for sure. Scott says, you want a quick trip to the grocery store, don't you? Actually, I would throw back every fish. I'm not a big fish eater. I love to catch them. And I love to give them away. Mark says, going to warm up next week. Let's go. Good point, Katie. Steelhead fishing should be on fire now, too. Yeah, I was talking to Paul Schlafly of Riverside Charters in Manistee last week on the show. He said the fishing's been good, and it's going to get nothing but better. Mark, if I fish with you, I'll bring the cigars. All right, very, very soon here now, I have to switch gears from this microphone, my social media microphone, to this microphone, my official broadcast microphone. When that happens, I will not be able to... free fishing this weekend. I didn't even know that. Didn't even know that. Caseville Shanty Days this weekend. Good luck on that. Good morning, Brad. Anyway, I'm going to switch gears here. I won't be able to directly interact with you. In fact, I'm going to talk about a couple of the same things we have been talking about. Scott says the same thing. He just loves being on the water. He gives away most of his fish to friends. That's what I do. When I have people that come fishing with me, I give them all away. In fact, my wife Denise is like, can you just bring home a couple of fish, please? So I will have to do that. Okay, Trinity Monitor Wild Game Dinner and Auction, one.bidpal.net, one.bidpal.net to get your tickets. We get a lot of great auction items we're giving away, some great hunting trips, some great fishing trips. My friends have been very generous in supporting this event. And I was at a meeting at church last Sunday talking about the Wild Game Dinner. And people said, Avery, your partners and your friends have helped make this event, and we appreciate it. So I'm passing it along to you, Craig Plowman, Matt Schock, Johnny Bowler, Gary Morgan, Paul Schlafly, Doug Ward, Mark Pananzak. We appreciate it very much. Thank you. And if I left somebody out, I apologize. But appreciate your support in making this happen. We will do another Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack Restaurant in March. Good point, Craig. The silent auction. Good point. Thank you for bringing that up. Let me check my calendar here. Today is the 14th. The silent auction will go live on the 28th. Kicked off on Wednesday Night Live. Eric says this coyote season topic is definitely not working in favor for keeping it as it is. No, it's not looking good. Not looking good at all. Mark says we'll count on it. 30 seconds. That's the fastest 2 minutes I've ever seen, Charlie. All right, in 30 seconds, I will switch gears to record the radio show. I'll be back tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. You faking me out? Okay. 10 seconds. Charlie, my gosh, you're just a slave driver. Oh, my gosh. Welcome to my world, my friends.
2, 1, and blast off.
And blast off. So here's what I'm hearing, which means the radio show is actually officially about to start.
Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show, Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine.
Okay. Have a good day, my friends. See you tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Happy birthday, Johnny Bowler, Bear Whisperer. And don't forget, today's Valentine's Day. If you have forgotten, you still have time to redeem yourself.
The Forward Corporation, Primal Outdoors.
I know. That whole thing, Eric, this whole thing is just terrible. All right, my friends, have a good day. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network on more than 30 radio stations across the great state of Michigan, and so glad to have you along with us. What have you been up to since we last talked? What have you done? Where have you been? Anything fun? Anything exciting? Anything outdoors? What are you doing right now? Are you ice fishing? Maybe if you're up north, more likely open water fishing. Maybe you're doing some late season small game hunting. Maybe you're doing hunting crows. I got a buddy who hunts crows, and I think it's a fascinating topic, but he will not go on the show with me. He says, he says, I don't want to talk to you on the air. I'll talk to you off the air all you want. I don't want to talk to you, Avery, on air. I don't want to talk about crow hunting. I just don't want to do it. I get it. Because when people talk to me, they end up talking to a lot of people, and he just doesn't want to do that. I get it. So what else? Maybe you're doing some shed hunting. I got a text from a buddy of mine the other day. And he said, I've always, because he's been out of town here on a wintertime vacation. He says, I've always suspected that while we're gone, the deer come up into the yard and they eat my shrubs. He said, now I have proof. And he sent me a picture of a shed. Now, a shed is a dropped whitetail antler. He sent me a picture of a shed in his window well. His basement window well. See, you don't have to go looking for sheds. They drop right there by your house, Scott. Shedding, interesting sport. And people call whitetail antlers, they tend to call them horns. The distinction here is technically a horn doesn't drop. Cows have horns. They don't drop. Elk have antlers. Whitetails have antlers. Mule deer have antlers. Moose have antlers. It's one of the fastest growing things in Mother Nature. Think about this. from the springtime when that new bone starts to grow till the fall, look at how big of a rack a moose or an elk grows in that time. And searching for those is a pretty cool wintertime activity. We used to bundle the kids up and take them out to the local nature center and search for sheds, and it was a riot. Okay, kind of on a weather roller coaster lately, haven't we? I mean, it was warm, and then it got cold, and we got some snow. Now it's supposed to get warm again, which is pretty much to be expected this time of year. I did find it was a great week for me. It was a successful week. I found my first dead skunk on the side of the road. Now, a lot of people had been reporting them, even sending me pictures, but I can't quite share in the experience fully by seeing your pictures. I had to go out and get my own. So I put the word out. I was looking for a skunk. A buddy of mine in law enforcement was on patrol. And he said, Avery, there's a dead skunk at such and such a location. So I went there, and sure enough, there was. And I took a picture of that. So thank you, Victor, for that. I do appreciate it. Also, thank you, my friends, for the old sayings you have been sending me. I talked about this last week. This is something I've been collecting over the years. I think it's important to continue these outdoor traditions, this connection with our past. And so I've had a lot of people send those to me. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. While I was out looking for a dead skunk on the side of the road, I did notice something. Have you seen all the deer lately? You're likely to see deer any time of day right now, obviously more in the morning, more in the evening, but even midday. And you won't see one deer right now. You'll see a herd of deer. In fact, when I see deer right now, I feel like I'm seeing every deer in this section. They're pretty social animals, and right now they're grouped up, they're herded up, and I just think it's pretty cool. How can I see so many deer right now as I'm driving down the road, and I couldn't see a doe during the hunting season to shoot? But that's another topic. But I will get revenge on you, Mother Nature, because turkey season is coming up. Fishing. I have been jonesing so bad to get out there. My angler quest is shrink wrapped at Linwood Beach Marina right now, so she's not coming out for a while. My son James was on Saginaw Bay yesterday. Got some real nice fish, beautiful fish. I really want to get up in the river and take advantage of that fishery. It's not going to close this year. When I look at that Saginaw Bay fishery, I look at it from a couple of perspectives. One of them just as an angler who loves it out there, but the other one as an outdoor observer who has been observing the Saginaw Bay walleye fishery since it was reestablished back in the early 80s? Now, Saginaw walleye are native to Saginaw Bay, but long time ago, the population was pretty much decimated by over-harvesting by commercial fishermen. That can't happen these days now, right? And pollution and runoff and agricultural runoff. And look, you can't blame the people who did that back then because they were following practices that were accepted at the time. But we learned that what we were doing wasn't good for Mother Nature, changed those practices. Mother Nature cleaned up Saginaw Bay, and then with help from the DNR and sportsmen's groups around Saginaw Bay, who established walleye rearing ponds, where they took walleye fry, put them into those rearing ponds, grew them to 2 or 3 inches where their survival rate would be better, and they dumped them around Saginaw Bay for a period of years. Between the DNR, sportsmen's groups, and Mother Nature, that fishery was reestablished. Interesting, in the early days, the DNR knew those fish were out there, but nobody was fishing for them. And the few people who were fishing for them didn't really know how to catch them. So I remember early on, and this is way back in the reestablishment of the Saginaw Bay walleye fishery. I was working in TV news at the time. The DNR got in touch with the Coast Guard and said, will you take some TV people and some media people and some newspaper people? Remember newspapers? They were something, it's a paper product, and it's got black writing on it, and we used to get them delivered to our house every day, and you would actually read them to get the news. I feel bad for people in the newspaper business. But they said, will you take these media people out in your, I don't know if it was a 41 footer or a 44 footer, up in the shallow water, what I now lovingly call the skinny water of Saginaw Bay, as the commercial fishermen had some trap nets up in there. They said, will you take these media people out there and show them that there are actually walleye there? So we went out in this Coast Guard cutter to watch the commercial fishermen pull their trap nets. And when they pulled them, they were absolutely full of walleye. Big walleye. You'll remember the early days in the reestablishment of the Saginaw Bay walleye fishery, how big the fish were. So the DNR is going, see, we told you it worked. We told you there were fish out there. Now, Saginaw Bay anglers, get out there and learn how to catch these fish. Now look at it. I think of the reestablishment of the Saginaw Bay walleye fishery as one of the greatest conservation success stories that I have seen in my lifetime, and certainly in recent history. Another thing that I consider to be a conservation success story, eagles. When I was a kid growing up, we never saw eagles. They weren't around. Now, look around. There are eagles everywhere. There are eagle nests everywhere. To the point where a few years ago, when my grandkids were still, a little bit younger, and they were in the back seat as we're driving around, I'd go, look, there's an eagle. There's an eagle's nest. They go, yeah, Grandpa, whatever. Because they see them all the time. It was no big deal to them. Even today, every eagle I see, it's a big deal. It's wonderful. It's a conservation success story. Man isn't always bad for Mother Nature. You'll have some people say, man is destroying this world. Man is doing nothing good for Mother Nature. Man is the source of all problems. No. Well, sometimes, yes. But we learn, we change those practices, and Mother Nature often rebounds. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine show, after the break, Captain Jason Graham of Send It Charters, also of Linwood Beach Marina. I want to talk to him about that Saginaw Bay walleye fishery, maybe a little bit about the river as well. Plus, they're going to have an event coming up March 2nd. I want to talk to him about that. Speaking of events, Ben Nielsen of Showspan will also join me to talk about the Outdoor Rama event coming up. I think that's in Novi here, maybe next weekend already. In our second hour, Glenn Duncan of Duncan's Outdoor Shop talks about the new gun laws we are now living with, and I'm going to say under, here in Michigan. A lot going on there. And Justin Tomei of MUCC will check in as well. Plus, this week's Ask Avery segment. In our third hour, we're going to head to Southern Lake, Michigan to talk about early season trolling with Russ Clark of Seahawk Charters. And, of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. I think it's going to be a good show. I'm so glad you're with us. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I'd love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out. Let me know what's on your mind, what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear about, and what you're sick of hearing about. More coming up after the break right here on Outdoor Magazine.
A good night is a valuable tool.
I love these comments. Hello, friends. How are you? Hope all is well. It's such a wonderful day. Delete, block user. All right, my friends, have a great day. Hopefully you can join me tonight at 7 o'clock for another edition of Wednesday Night Live right here on my social media outlets. I see your comments, my friends. I just don't have time to get into them now, but we can do that tonight on Wednesday Night Live at 7 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great day. Come on, I'm trying to end the stream here, but it won't end. Maybe that'll do it.